Well, if our traffic light government needs some consolation these days because it is supposed by only a third of the Germans, well, elsewhere a majority of citizens also want their government to be thrown out. And yes, you indeed can run a Western democracy and have made yourself even more unpopular than the Social Democrats, the Greens, and the Liberals combined here in Germany. German dissatisfaction with the traffic light government is primarily due to high inflation and rising energy prices. These problems also exist in Great Britain, but they are different and there are a lot of other factors involved. British dissatisfaction with the government, on the other hand, is due to a number of factors that do not exist or do not exist to the same extent here. And this includes Brexit. Brexit was a very controversial decision that deeply divided the country. The British government has so far been unable to resolve the problems caused by Brexit, because nobody can. The government's incompetence and corruption is another point, because the British government has been guilty of a number of scandals and missteps in recent years, and this further weakened the government's reputation. And now they created a divided society. The Brexit debate has deeply divided the British society, and the country is divided into two camps, the pro-European camp and the it's called British camp, and this division has changed the political landscape in Britain and led to growing dissatisfaction with the government. German dissatisfaction with the traffic light government is shaped more by short-term factors, while British dissatisfaction with the government is shaped by long-term factors. It is therefore likely that British discontent will continue in the coming years. And there are a number of factors that contribute to the British being less happy with their government than the Germans here. And as I said, the British government has made a number of decisions in recent years that have met with discontent among many Britons. And these include, among other things, the decision to push ahead with Brexit, cutting social benefits, and increasing taxes. And the British government is perceived by many Britons as incompetent and also corrupt. And this is also due to the numerous scandals that have been uncovered in British politics in recent years, and not to forget Boris and Liz Truss. And the division in the society. This is due, among other things, to the Brexit debate, which has divided the country in two camps, but not alone. But in comparison, the German government has been significantly more popular in recent years anyway. And this is primarily due to the successful management of the corona pandemic, no matter who is at the helm. And the German government has also implemented a number of reforms that have met with approval, at least from many Germans. And some other factors have contributed to the Tories exacerbating British dissatisfaction with their government themselves. In recent years, the Tories have increasingly outed themselves as the party of the rich and the powerful. And this has led to growing discontent among the poor and the middle classes. And the Tories have shown themselves to be incompetent and dividing the Brexit debate even themselves. And this has led to a crisis of confidence in the party. And the Tories have been guilty of a number of scandals and missteps that I already mentioned, and the very short term of Liz Truss. And it's likely that British dissatisfaction with their government will continue in the time to come, at least until the general election. Then we could have a completely different government with the same problems, unfortunately. The decision to vote for Brexit was one of the most controversial decisions in British history, and that has deeply divided the country and led to a number of problems the government is still feeling. The Tory Brexit campaign was characterized by populist slogans and promises, none of which could be fulfilled. And this has led to growing dissatisfaction with the government as well. And after Brexit, the British government was struggling to reach those good trade deals with other countries they always promised. And this has led to an economic crisis that had worsened the living conditions of British people. And the Tories have cut a number of welfare benefits in recent years. And this has led to growing poverty and inequality in Britain. And the cuts have particularly affected the poorer and most vulnerable members of society, and this has led to growing dissatisfaction with the government. And the Tories have also increased a number of taxes in recent years, and this has led to a growing burden on some citizens. And the tax increases have particularly affected the middle class and the rich. And this has led to growing dissatisfaction with the government from that group as well. The British government has, of course, as I said, been guilty of all those scandals, missteps, and a lot of prime ministers in a very short time. And reputation is something we don't want to talk about. But the best-known scandal I already mentioned was the Partygate scandal, in which Prime Minister Boris Johnson and other members of the government violated the corona lockdown rules. And don't forget the Westminster scandal, in which numerous politicians were accused of sexual harassment or rape. And Brexit will continue to be one of the big things that make a difference between Germany and the UK, because to still promise something, everybody knows that starts thinking knows that Brexit will never work the way they promised. How do you want to find trust and satisfaction with such a government? So this will have a negative impact on the Tory election results in the coming year, it can be the coming year, it can be this year, but it will not be a very good result with everything as it looks right now. If they don't find a miracle, we know how this will end. And if you want to know more about Brexit or UK politics right now, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.